And that piece of music, which was one of a batch of tracks, but my first sort of commercial outsourced writing gig, ended up getting nominated for an Emmy. Went over to New York and won the thing. And sort of that was the Kickstarter for everything, really. My name's Mark Willott. I'm a composer and producer, and I'm based in the Midlands in the UK. When I was sort of 14, 15, I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to, you know, tour in a band and all that kind of thing. But I think probably now that wouldn't have been a very good idea, and just the idea of playing the same things night in, night out doesn't really appeal very much anymore. I tend to like to produce music and then move on to the next thing and the next thing. It's the creativity that's a big part of what I love about music, whether it be writing for films, sports promos, video games. Every day is different. When I was 14 thinking about making music for a living, I probably didn't realise then, but this has probably ended up the perfect thing for me now. I first started with a video game called Cold Winter. I started as a sound designer. I started working for free. I had no experience, but I was lucky. I had a friend, an animator, who got me through the front door. And I was able to prove myself there, working in sound design, just with my own equipment, my own SM58 and a portable recorder, doing all the Foley and that kind of thing. Worked for 6 months for free, started to get a couple £100 here, there. And then I asked if I could have a go at the music for some of the cinematics, which I did. And at this point I was sort of making my own music, as I always have made my own music. But I hadn't sort of scored to picture before, didn't know the process, didn't know the, never sort of really made orchestral music before. And this game was called Cold Winter, and I ended up doing single-handedly all the Foley, sound design, mastering the voices, and of course the soundtrack. One of the strange things about the work that I do is I rarely get to hear it or see it in its final form, because most of my work is outside, well, nearly all of my work is outside of the UK, apart from some video game stuff. But majority in the States, Russia and Australia. So one of the nicest things I got to do was to see my movie at the cinema, see your name on the credits, you know, obviously hear your music in the auditorium and everything. That was fantastic. Well, I make music all the time, whether it be for clients or whether it be for myself. It's all kind of really the same thing. It's just being creative, being in here. The beauty of making your own music on your own time is there's no deadlines. One of the principal things with everything in media, especially with TV, is that everything is last minute. So you don't get to spend as much time on the production and those kind of elements as that you would like. Sometimes I've had as little as 3 hours to, you know, start to finish a piece of music. So the good thing about making your own music is that it just allows you all that time and creativity to be free to explore the ins and outs of your plugins, of your writing, of how you want to tell your own story. And then, of course, when it comes back to the commercial work, you can sort of really condense that down into really short, intense periods. One of the things I have to do all the time is I can't use the same kit again and again and again. It's not like doing an album where the drums should all, you know, it should be a consistent sound throughout. It needs to sound as varied and as different as it can do. And the great thing about Superior Drummer is just changing a snare up, just changing the toms up, bringing the room mics up, taking them down, just gives you such a completely different sound. And because it's so flexible as well, that's very easy to do. And I have templates set up where I can recall blank kits that are produced, kits that have all the room mics routed to a bus where we can just sort of bring it in for flavour, kits where I've got everything routed to a compressed sort of absolutely smashed parallel room mic that I can just bring in when the music gets intense and all that kind of thing, and it's instant. And then with EZkeys as well, I sort of came to EZkeys by a very happy accident, in that I was doing a production for the NBA, and the setting was someone playing the piano and singing and, you know, playing very well. And obviously I understand piano, I understand all instruments, but playing them is, you know, I'm not the greatest piano player in the world, and I can sit there and program it for hours and whatnot. I know exactly what I want it to sound like, and so EZkeys is just great at, when you have you know, I use it in a slightly different way probably than it was intended, in that I know what I want. I usually have a very firm idea of what the music's going to sound like and what I want it to be. I just don't have all the skills to play all the instruments that I need to realise that. So I go to EZkeys. You know, you put your chord structure in, you get the basic structure of the song down, and then you find your feel by dialing through the different MIDI packs and things like that. And once you've got that sort of emotion to it, that feeling to it that's inherent in those MIDI recordings, stick it in the DAW, edit it to where I need it to be, and make it into that original performance that I'd always heard in the first place. And I can't think of, without spending hours and hours editing MIDI data, of a better way to do it. There is a lot of luck involved in being successful at writing your own music. There's no doubt about that. You need all the skill and talent in the world as well. But I think probably the thing that makes me, or has made me continue to get work and continue to do what I do, is probably not as much the music side of things as customer service. Clients want, you need to hit the deadline. You have to make sure that your music is delivered on time, that it sounds good, and that it fits the brief. So you need to, when somebody asks you for 3 ideas, you need to give them 10. When they ask you for 10, you need to give them 20. And always exceed their expectations. If you get a chance to work for anything, absolutely put everything you've got into it. Take everything that you can to make that the best thing in the world, and give them options. You can give them different mixes. Oh, what if you tried this? What if you tried that? Give them what they want, but also give them things they might not have thought of in the first place as well. And then do it fast. Everything has to be about speed in media, games, TV. You have to work quickly. You have to know your tools inside out. You have to be able to work extremely fast to extremely high level, and at the same time be creative and tell the stories. But most of all, you have to deliver on time.